Oi, pessoal! Aqui é a Alexia. Bom, antes de começar, eu queria falar umas coisinhas aqui com vocês. Nós estamos preparando coisas muito bacanas para 2020. Então, a cada mês, nós teremos um challenge diferente, ou seja, um desafio. Pelos 12 meses do ano que vem, nós vamos ter desafios sobre temas específicos que vão te ajudar a melhorar o seu inglês. Por exemplo, nós vamos ter challenges sobre phrasal verbs, sobre prepositions e como aprender gramática sem precisar usar livros didáticos. Vai ser muito legal, a gente está super animado com isso e queremos muito que você participe. Então, se você é sério com o seu inglês, você deve participar dos challenges. Para saber mais sobre esse e muitos outros assuntos, vá lá no inglesnuecrupodcast.com. Okay, now on with the show.
This episode of Inglês no Cru is brought to you by Cambly. Cambly is an online English learning platform.
So formal.
What? I think sometimes Cambly is perhaps a little angry at us because we make jokes and we're really informal, but that's the way we are. But today, let's try it a little differently. Once again, this episode of Inglês no Cru is brought to you by Cambly, an online English learning platform where you can learn English whenever, wherever you want. It is a very, very exceptional way to improve your English, and all you have to do is visit www.cambly.com and use the promotional code inglesnuecrupodcast to receive your first class for free, or you can simply download the Cambly application on your smartphone and use the promotional code inglesnuecrupodcast to get your first class for free. Okay, now we will begin the episode of the program. Hello, hey, sweet people, and welcome to another episode of Inglês no Cru. My name is Foster, and as always, I am here with
Alexia. Hello, everyone. Good morning.
Good morning.
Or good afternoon, or good night. I don't know.
Bom dia, boa tarde, boa noite. So, Alexia, you are running the show today. In English, we could say that you are the showrunner.
Okay, so during the weekend, I found some good questions about Americans.
Okay. Americans and America in general. Right?
Yes. It's from BuzzFeed, which I can spend a lot of time reading their stuff. But this is good material for podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. So please continue.
So those are like Twitter or Facebook or Instagram questions about the Americans or the American culture.
Okay.
That people who are not from the United States, of course, are very confused about some things, and they ask out there.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
You can say they ask questions. Yeah, so just one thing, when you say they ask about the Americans and the American culture, normally we don't say the Americans, the American culture. We would just say they're asking about Americans and American culture.
Why, if I am like pointing out something?
It's just we really don't use articles like a, an, and the as much as you do in Portuguese. For example, if you're saying a faculdade, normally we would not say the university. We would say university.
Okay.
It's not incorrect. I'm just trying to make it as natural as possible.
Okay.
But
so
I think I got the point. Just to clarify, these are, I think, primarily Twitter questions where people from all over the world are asking Americans, like, hey, there's this thing happening in the U.S. and I have no idea what it means. Can you please explain? Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Let's do it. You
Let's
have
do
some?
it. Yes. So the first one is, can an American explain potluck dinners to me? Because I always think it's a competition of sorts. The best food wins. I don't know. I won't read this word, so.
Okay, so this person is asking, basically, what are potluck dinners? And they did have a good, I imagine this is an English speaker from somewhere, because they say a competition of sorts. Do you understand that? A competition of sorts?
Of something?
Yeah, of sorts just means tipo de concorrência, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Alexia, before reading this, did you know what a potluck dinner is?
I've never heard about it.
Oh, interesting. But I
never
think you
heard.
have attended many potluck dinners in your life.
Yeah, but we just say bring your own food. We don't have a name for that, you know?
Yeah, so essentially a potluck dinner is just an event. It is a dinner. It can be lunch, whatever, where everyone brings something. So, for example, someone brings meat, someone brings beers, someone brings guacamole. And it's not a competition. I don't think so.
No, but when I read like potluck, it sounds like I'm gonna win something from that.
Yeah, it does have the word luck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's just a meal where everyone brings their own food. I think in Brazil that is quite common.
Yeah, yes it is. We are getting together, so you bring what you're gonna eat or you're gonna drink, and everyone is happy.
Cool. Yeah. Awesome.
Here as well.
Yeah. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Do you want to give me another one?
Next one. Can an American explain to me how SNL works? When does it start? Will the music guest perform at the end of the show? And here, SNL is Saturday Night Live.
Okay. Yeah. That's a good question. So, Alexia, were you familiar with SNL before this question?
Yes. Well, I worked for a comedy group for a long time.
In your area.
Yes.
Okay. So, SNL is Saturday Night Live, but the abbreviation SNL. So I want to say that SNL started in the 1970s. The director of the show is a guy named Lorne Michaels, who is very, very famous in the comedy world. And it's probably the most famous American comedy show. It's kind of in a class of its own. Like you have the late night shows that started with Jimmy Carson, David Letterman, but SNL was just always there. So it's a really household name in the U.S.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
When does it start? It's on Saturday nights. I think it starts at 11 p.m.
Yeah, I think so as well. It's a late night.
Yeah. In the past, I don't know because I wasn't born, but in the past, I think it was like a really American tradition to watch SNL late night on Saturday night. Nowadays, most people just watch clips on YouTube, but it's still a really big deal. And most of the most famous comedians in the U.S., they start at SNL. That's where they catch their big break.
Yes, what I get from SNL nowadays is that if you are a comedy actor or actress,
or a comedian,
and you are not going to be part of SNL at some point of your life, it's like you didn't happen. You have to be there at some point, even if it's just for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like it's like a selo, an approval.
Yeah. A stamp of approval.
Yes, it's like that.
You could also say that SNL is kind of a gatekeeper. Do you understand that?
I do.
It's the kind of the organization that lets people in or says, no, you can't be part of the group.
Yeah.
But SNL is great. And do they have a musical guest? Yeah, I think almost always they have a musical guest that performs at the end of the show.
It's been a long time that I've watched SNL.
It's been a long time since I've watched SNL.
Yes. We should do that once.
I watch SNL a lot.
I don't.
Clips on YouTube.
Yeah. I do watch Jimmy Fallon a lot, so.
I normally watch, they have something called cold opens, where they will not introduce the show, but it just starts with a scene, and they're always crazy and really funny. And then at the end of the scene, just kind of do nada, just surprisingly, they'll say, and it's Saturday night, this is SNL. And it's really cool. And a lot of times they'll have a comedian open with a monologue if something important happens, which is also really cool.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Cool. Do you think that's enough for right now, or should we do one more?
One more.
Okay, let's do one more.
Yes, so this one, I always get extremely confused. And I think everyone here will love that we'll explain this. Can Americans explain to me, should I say that?
WTF?
WTF. It's so hard to say WTF.
Double?
WTF.
W?
WTF.
What the fuck? Yeah.
Can Americans explain to me WTF is 7/8C? Like, what does that even mean? And it's like 7/8 C pequeno, just so you guys understand.
Yeah.
And this appears every time that you are watching like TV, and then they are announcing a new TV show or some TV show, and they are always like 7/8 Central or 9/10 Central, and like this. Yeah. And I'm like, what is this?
Yeah, I can totally see why that could be confusing. So normally when you're watching TV in the US, you will see something like 7/8 Central or 8/9 Central. So what this is referring to is the 7, the first time. That means 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that is referring to the East Coast, okay?
Yes.
And then the C is referring to Central Standard Time, which is 1 hour behind Eastern Standard Time.
Uh-huh.
So pretty much all of your experiences in the U.S., except for a couple, have been in Eastern Standard Time. So if you imagine all of North and South Carolina, New York, Atlanta, all of that, everything on the East Coast is Eastern Standard Time. And that's like the normal kind of thing. So if they say something starts at 7 p.m., that's what they're talking about.
So the first number is like South Carolina, New York, Miami, Florida, And the second one is California.
No.
So I don't get it, because if they are not putting California there, why to make this difference, you know? If they already have a difference to California and they announce in a very different way, they could do the central one as well, or the eastern one as well.
That's a good question. So my hypothesis is, so we also have Pacific Standard Time, which is the West Coast, which is 3 hours behind the East Coast. So in general, on the West Coast, I imagine they have different commercials for things.
Yeah.
So it will just say it's starting at 4 p.m.
Yeah.
But Eastern Standard Time and Central Time, they probably have all of the same things. So, for example, when I was studying in university, Sewanee, my university, is right at the beginning of Central Time. So you are 1 hour behind Eastern Standard Time. So whenever there was something on TV, we didn't really watch TV in university, but if there was something really important, we knew that it was going to start 1 hour later than Eastern Time. Does that make sense?
No. Yes, I mean, I didn't.
Do you understand it?
Yes.
That's the point.
I do understand it. I don't agree, but I do understand it.
You have different time zones in Brazil.
But we do different announcements for each one. We don't do that.
Okay.
Yeah, because we are smarter.
We are more efficient.
No. This is not being efficient.
Okay, we will return in the next few days answering more questions about Americans and American culture. At least we will try. And we will see you guys tomorrow.
Bye! Muito obrigada por ter escutado mais um episódio aqui do nosso Inglês de Necro Rádio. Como sempre, vou pedir para você deixar sua review, deixar o seu e-mail no nosso site inglesnuecrupodcast.com, ficar de olho nas novidades que a gente sempre manda, nossos recursos grátis, enfim, todas as novidades que a gente puder, a gente vai estar compartilhando com vocês, principalmente por e-mail. Então, é isso. Eu quis aqui dar esse recado. Como sempre, obrigada pelo suporte e a gente se vê no próximo episódio, tá bom? Bye!